Hi, I'm Bob Ross. Yes, Bob Ross. That's my real name, like the famous painter. Little do my parents know they're going to give me a famous name and a good one. So I'm kind of like the Bob Ross for emotional healing. I've been given a gift to help people resolve phobias and post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic memories, addictions. And the key really is getting to the root cause of the problem. Now, probably the best way to know if I can help you is just to tell you a few stories of people that I helped. I was approached by a gentleman whose son had been back from Afghanistan and was so severely affected by post traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, that he was in house therapy at the VA for the past year. In one session, we had more progress than an entire year of therapy at the VA. There's a gentleman who had nightmares about a head-on collision he was in, and so I asked him, "So what are the nightmares about?" "Oh, the only thing that bothers me is the headlights coming at us." So we just did work on the headlights, and when we started, he closed his eyes and remembered the event, and he was a 10 out of 10. And after about 5 or 6 minutes, I checked in. So how is it now? "Oh, I'm at a 10. I'm at a 10 for the headlights." "Oh no, the headlights are no big deal. Maybe a 2." "Wow. Okay. Well, what's the big deal?" "Oh, Bob, the sound of the crash." "Well, you never mentioned anything about the sound." "I didn't have any nightmares about the sound. Now all of a sudden it's the sound. I'm at a 10 out of 10." "Wow." So we worked on the sound of the crash. We were done about 5, 6 minutes. I said, "Okay, how is it now?" "Oh, I'm at a 10 for the sound of the crash." "No, no, I'm at a 0." Turns out the worst part of the memory was actually when he looked over and saw his best friend unconscious and bloody. See, often what the brain will do is put layers, like an onion, layers on top of the worst part of the trauma so that we don't go nuts, basically. Yeah. So the gift is we take off the layers, then it results the core issue, the worst part of the trauma, and we resolve that. And guess what? The nightmares stopped. Now he still has the memory, and he's sad that it happened, but it doesn't have the recurring nightmares and get triggered and loud noises affect him and so forth. Well, this can also work in terms of helping with medical issues. A gentleman, another veteran from the war, had severe abdominal pain, just severe abdominal pain, and he had CAT scans and X-rays, MRIs, ultrasound. They couldn't find anything wrong with him. And so I kind of perk up, really? So uh, we just started working on what we knew, and that was the abdominal pain in his lower right quadrant of his abdomen. And when the pain was bad, it was, like an 8 out of 10. It was really, really severe. And I always tell people, so as we're doing this work, let me know if a memory pops up, because that's one of the gifts. Now, sometimes the person I'm working with will get the memory, and sometimes I'll get it through intuition, through like an intuitive hit. So we're working on just the pain, what it felt like, where it was, did it move, the quality of the pain. I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 minutes into it, he goes, "Ah!" I go, "Oh, we got it." "Oh no, it has nothing to do with this." "Well, that's okay. Just tell me what memory popped up." Well, we were on patrol, and a landmine went off, and my best friend was to my right, and he took the brunt of the blast. And unfortunately, we didn't have a medic in our platoon, and he was just pleading with me to save him. "Just please save me." And I didn't know what to do, and he died. I go, "Oh, I'm so sorry." So, out of curiosity, where was your good friend injured? "Oh, right here." And he pointed to exactly where he had the abdominal pain. That's how powerful our minds are. So that's why they couldn't find anything wrong with him, obviously, because there wasn't anything physically wrong with him. So we stopped working on abdominal pain and went back to that trauma, and we addressed, right, the sights, the sounds, the smells, any texture, any touch issue uh, going on. thoughts, right? His feeling of helplessness. And guess what? The pain went away, never came back. I know. It's so exciting to see these results. And as you know, the key to success in even in medicine is to get at the core. So you might have kidney pain and oh, it's terrible pain. And the doc says, well, let me give you a pain medication. I go, well, thank you very much. But let's get to the cause of the pain. And if we don't, guess what? Then the treatment that you're receiving is just kind of a covering. It just masks. That's what I'm looking word I'm looking for. Is it just masks the pain. So uh, another good example would be for helping someone with an addiction. Oh, this is great. So one of the things that I have done over the years is work as a motion picture set medic. So I'm the set medic on scene for on sets of movies, television shows, commercials, music videos for when stunts go wrong, things blow up. Whoops. In fact, I'm brought in a lot of time for my for high risk stunts to help with that. And I was working on a gentleman who had an issue, and it was actually an emotional issue, but we were on a break. So I said, "Hey, I'm happy to help you." And the guy, you could see the change in his face, right? In just like 10 minutes. So this Teamster comes up to me afterwards and says, "Hey, Bob Medic, uh, does what you just did, does that help for quitting smoking?" I go, "Actually, it's phenomenal for that." He says, "I don't believe you." I go, "Good." So I'll tell you what, don't have a cigarette, wait until you're ready to kill for one, and then come back and see me. Well, it wasn't like 15, 20 minutes later, he came back and he was literally shaking. He needed a cigarette so bad. So I worked with him, and literally in 5 minutes, the cravings were gone. He looked at me. In fact, I took a cigarette and I handed it to him. Here, have a cigarette. Ah, I don't want it. What do you mean you don't want it? Yeah, what do you mean I don't want it? And then I taught him what to do when the cravings came up that would help the cravings go away. And so instead of cravings every 15, 20 minutes, every 40 minutes, every hour and a half, every couple hours, and pretty soon the cravings are gone. Isn't that exciting? So one more quick story. I uh, I invented a technique that takes away headaches in about 30 seconds based on eye movement. And I got an email from a woman who asked if it worked for migraines. And I replied to her that yes, but you have to get it as soon as you feel the migraine starting to come in, because once it sets in, it's kind of like a claw. And uh, I asked her, I said, well, what physically is wrong with you that's causing these migraines? Well, they can't find anything wrong with me. Really? So, and she was up in Seattle. And so I sent her the information, and we actually did this on the phone, right? So we can work together. Zoom is better. We could do it in person, but we didn't have that opportunity at the time. So I just called her on the phone, and we worked on the migraine. So the light sensitivity, the nausea, what the pain feels like, so forth. And about, 10 minutes into this, I heard in my head 14, 14. I said, Mary, that's not a real name, of course. Mary, what happened when you were 14? She just started to bawl. I said, oh, Mary, I'm so sorry I made you upset. So what what happened when you were 14? Well, my mom got remarried and my stepdad started sexually abusing me. Oh, Mary, I'm so sorry. Mary, out of curiosity, when did your migraine start? When I was 14. Oh. And how did the migraines work with the abuse? That's what you wait for, that aha moment. She said, Bob, the only time he wouldn't abuse me is when I had a migraine. Mary, that's how powerful you are. You are literally giving yourself a migraine to protect you. See, the role of our brain is to protect us, to keep us safe, and whatever it thinks is safe. And that's what we'll talk about in a quick second. But um, so for her, she literally gave herself migraines to keep her safe. And so I asked her, I said, well, is he even still alive? He says, no, he's passed away. And you still get migraines? Yeah. Oh, Mary, I bet you get migraines when you don't feel safe. Oh, Bob, I'd never put that together. So obviously we stopped working on the migraine and went back to that abuse. Now, a one-time incident like that car crash that I mentioned, that's often 1 or 2 sessions and it's resolved. It's amazing. Uh, but with something like this, since it went on for a period of time, it could take more time. But the beautiful thing is you just take a little chunk. They don't have to talk about it. See, okay, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm all in favor of talk therapy. It's phenomenal early on, right? In fact, I work with the Pasadena Fire Department, and when we come back from a difficult call, guess what we naturally do? Yeah, we talk about the call, decisions we made, uh, ask questions. Hey, could we have done anything differently? Did we do the best we could? All that kind of thing, and that actually helps process. But the problem with regular talk therapy is you're telling the story over and over and over. And what they didn't know, but we know now, is when there's any kind of an emotional trauma, it's a shock to the nervous system, and it literally results in an electrical disturbance in your nervous system. It's like an electrical tumor, right? The fancy term is electrical perturbation, but it's like an electrical tumor. So, talk therapy again, is good to help initially, but that's why usually results are very slow, take a long time. People put a lot of time and money into therapy and have not as much progress as they want. Well, that's what's different with what I do. So I love speed. I want you healed as as fast as possible. So if this sounds good, feel free to send me an email, give me a phone call, and we'll see if we're a good fit. There'll be more information on the website about different options that you have. Oh, and before I forget, because remember I told you how your brain wants to keep you safe? Well, if you had something from your childhood, and most of the things that cause phobias in particular come from the childhood, but let's say something bad happened in the childhood and you create a belief. And that purpose of that belief is actually to keep you safe. So if there was an issue around money in your family, right, a lot of complaints about it, not having enough, and always complaining about it, then you form a judgment and a belief that that's the norm. That's the norm for people. And so if you want to be successful and you can have great results, by the way, I'm talking from experience, this happened to me. You literally will self-sabotage your success. Yeah, you'll self-sabotage because in your mind it's not safe to be successful. Same with losing weight. If there's any abuse in your past, your conscious mind wants to you want to look really good, but your subconscious mind says, no, that's not safe to look good. And so guess what? You will sabotage every single diet that you attempt. And that's the beauty of this work is if we get and resolve that trauma, then guess what? Your subconscious mind now believes it is safe to be good looking. Isn't that cool? Awesome. So I hope we get to work together and feel free to, again, send me an email or give me a phone call with any questions. Awesome. Thank you.